Good day, my name is J.P. Fortin, and today I'm going to demonstrate how to use Talend Big Data to load information into Amazon Web Services Redshift. The demo for today will consist of 5 major steps. One is to generate the sample from the JDX Bitcoin exchange to upload. And also the second step would be to create the S3 bucket that we need to deposit that data load. And the third step is to set up Redshift cluster from an existing snapshot from previous loads, followed by loading all that data from the S3 bucket into Redshift. And then finally, to save money, to shut down Redshift and at the same time generate a new snapshot for future use. And then we pass it on to the demo. Okay, the first part of our demo, we're going to first of all verify on Amazon the S3 buckets are present or not. In this case, we are looking for NTech Bitcoin bucket, which is not there. At the same time, we can look at the status of our Redshift data warehouse, and essentially at this point, we have no cluster, but we do have existing snapshot from previous load. So let's start first of all with our Talend Big Data Studio, where we have those 5 steps identified, and we discussed earlier. They can be executed in one job automatically, but for the purpose of this demo, I will simply walk through one by one. So our first step is to get the JDX trade currency, and essentially it's just simple data flow to extract the data from a REST services from the JDX trading website. So I'm going to run it, and essentially what it does is generates a fair amount of data that will be loaded. So this is pretty much contain all the trade for today for a different currency, Canadian, European, British pound, and so on. So this is completed. We're going to set up our S3 bucket we talked about. And essentially what it does is we simply connect to the Amazon S3 connection bucket and then verify if it exists. If not, we'll create it. So essentially we're going to run it and create this NTech Bitcoin. So if we're going back to our S3 management console, we refresh the screen, we should see NTech Bitcoin. Currently it's empty because we've not loaded data yet, which is the second step. But before we go any further, we're going to set up our cluster. So again, it's not created. We're going to Talend. We're going to our third step, which is really set up the Redshift cluster. And we're going to simply run it, and it will take a moment to do that. So essentially what it does, it's going to go back here. We'll do a refresh at the dashboard. You can see a cluster now is being created. That will take a few minutes in order to save time. Once created, we'll come back. All right, so see you soon. Bye-bye. All right, now if we look at our actual cluster, it has been created and it's ready for consumption. So everything is a green status. So we're going to go back to our Talend Big Data and look at step number 4, which is essentially getting the list of files that we've obtained from the exchange, these 6 files over here, and load them up into Redshift using the output bulk components. So we're going to run, and at the same time, we want to point out that we can execute these steps in parallel. So I just put 2 parallel runs, but you can put as many as you want as long as you have enough processing power to do that. So let's come on our job here. We're going to load that data, and it should be fairly quick. So it's executing everything. So all the files have been executed. So if we go into the actual cluster, we could see that first of all it's been loaded into S3 Bitcoin. So we're going to refresh that. We should see the file GDX trade, which contain all these different trades. So then I'm going to go back to our console, and the console again has has been loaded and has data in it, and we can access it using Squirrel to essentially um, look at the data, look into Redshift, and see if it's been saved into a table called trades in the public schema. We'll go to the table right here, look at trade, look at the row count that we've got, 600. Looks like we have the data that's been added in. Yes, here we go. So we have about 600 records that were entered in a fraction of a few seconds. So once this is done, we can probably get out of here. All right, so now that we have all the data, we run the report. I mean, there's no need to keep that actual cluster up and running. So what we're going to do, our last step essentially, is to go in and essentially shut down the actual Redshift cluster, but at the same time, before we bring it down, because once you bring it down, it's lost, we're going to generate the cluster that contain the information that we've just loaded, so that the next time we have that cumulative load happening, and without the need to keep your cluster on all the time. So we're going to run this job, and essentially it shouldn't take too long in terms of its execution. It's more in terms of its processing on Amazon. So what you could see here, like I said, nothing has happened right now because what's happening is we're doing a final snapshot. If we go over here, and the snapshot is being created, when the snapshot has been created, the actual cluster will be shut down. So it may take a while. So what we're going to do is let it go to the next stage, and then come back and look at the results. Okay, our new snapshot has been created and available. So we should see now the cluster being deleted. As you can see, the flag now it's being brought down, and it should take about 4 to 5 minutes. So anyway, that pretty much conclude our demo for today. If you have any questions, just add them on to our YouTube chat. Thank you. Bye-bye.